the 25th of September. Another week is flying by, and another week to another Premier League game. So I hope we're all doing extremely well today. Back home, back in my den, as it was. I'm absolutely stinking cold today, so apologies if I'm sniffing away. Let me know. Get into the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're seeing today. Any questions that you've got, any observations that you've got as well in regarding the club. Other fans from other clubs are welcome here as well. I'm very, very fortunate in this chat that we do have some amazing people in here as well. You know, from other fans from other clubs. I feel very, very. I tend to lead the chat. I tend to lead the chat, and you guys come in with your opinions. I will read your opinions out because I respect your opinions. Just because I say something doesn't mean that's the end of the conversation. Doesn't mean that I'm 100% right. It just means that we are just having that conversation. So feel free to get in there. Let me know what you're up to today. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to get it in there today. A lot of our conversations over the last couple of weeks, particularly this week where there's not a lot coming out, it almost feels like a bit of a international window. This one where there's not a lot going on. So surprisingly, today I'm just going to hit the thumbnail. I'll give you my opinion on it. My opinion may not be the same as other people's in regards to the signing. Also wanted to get on to some of the other signings that we make. You know, Anthony scored last night. I wanted to give you an opinion on that one as well. So let's start off. So Christian Orozco from Fortaleza in Colombia, a Colombian Wonderkid, 17 years old. This is reported by Jacob at Jacob Ben on X. Obviously, Ben is very, very good, very, very credible guy when it comes to Saudi Arabia. I know he's been on the United stand. He's on TalkSport, and a really good guy. So he has confirmed that Orozco is going to basically join. And again, this has been all over and covered already, but I wanted to give my opinion on this, and guys, feel free to get your opinions in on this one as well. So, captain under 17's Colombian side, 17, and he's going to join next year from a Colombian club. So, whilst I've seen many outlets out there, seen lots of people praising this signing. Now, it's always nice to sign players. It's always nice to get these young players in. Now, what do I ultimately think of it? Yeah, great. We've signed a wonder kid. This kid is only going to be a wonder kid, in my opinion. How many wonder kids have we signed? No, Kane was supposed to be a wonder kid. Leon is supposed to be a wonder kid as well. Nezina says hi. Hello, I hope you're doing extremely well today. Now, I'm a big fan of collecting these wonder kids, right? You know. However, I do feel like there's a little bit of spin on this one. Wolfu Tiang. Obviously, I can't read that, but welcome here to the chat. Bernard, welcome to the chat as well. Get in your opinions on this signing. I'll give you my opinion as to where I'm at on the signing and what I think it means. You tell me if I'm going to be harsh, and get your opinions in as well. And I absolutely will read your opinions out. So, number one, what do I think of the signing? So what? You know, to be blunt, this almost feels like United are trying to spin something here. Now they are, you know, this kid is a defensive midfielder. I don't understand why they couldn't sign this kid. So Bernard, there's a guy called, well, there's a kid, a wonder kid from Colombia called Orozco from Fortaleza, Benja. hello, my friend. Tottenham is dare to do is going to be something this year. Teddy Chin, welcome to the chat, my friend. We do get lots of different fans in here, so feel free to come in here, my friend. The only thing I will say to the chat is obviously be respectful to each other's opinions. We don't always have to agree, but that's the beauty of opinion. We don't mind banter, so as long as we are respectful to each other and each other's opinions. Banter is fine. Anything rude, and you're gonna go. So let's get on to that, and then I'll give you some more opinion. Tottenham to dare is to do. Look, I've got a lot of time for Tottenham. I've got a lot of time for Spurs. Let's hope. Let's hope that Spurs can do something this year. Spurs, don't forget, under Ange as well. Benja, he says it's like raining in England here, brothers. It is cold here, Benja, but it's not too bad actually. It's a little bit cold, but it's not raining too much. Look, let's hope, Teddy, that Spurs can break that Spursy. They did. They won a cup. You're very, very fortunate that you played us in that final. I thought Spurs were awful. I thought Spurs were terrible, but you won a cup. Now, Spurs started really well under Ange. All I'm going to say about Spurs is, look, right, you can dare to dream, but I'd always say to you, after the last, since 1990, you've won the odd thing like here and there, but look, Spurs are. Let's just say that you should hopefully drop the Spursy tag a little bit more. 3-3-3 tots are, well, let's say I miss class of 92. Jim H says I'm a booty warrior. Mate, you do you, my friend. It's you do you, my friend. So Orozco, under 17s or 17 years old, is going to be 18 next year, and it's going to look to come to this club. CDM, is that you're a handsome man. I just like and subscribe. Thank you, Jim H. Appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah, guys, just get in there. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Give us a sub. This channel is I'm very, very fortunate, and this channel is he's a handsome Dutch-looking Brit. I am Ruud van Nistelrooy. Big up JB, big up to Danny in the chat. Hey, this is Namunu. Do you remember me, Risha? Of course I do. Of course I do. Paul Brady. Look, Jim can be whoever he likes. Everybody is welcome on here. You look like Ryan Giggs. Hi. I do. Did you see the rumours linking Harry Kane? I did, actually, and we can come on to that as well. So I do have that on the list. Let's get through Orozco, and then we can go on to the Harry Kane rumours, which I think are a load of nonsense. This is the best channel. All the other channels are only talking about Trump. Thanks, Benja. Oh, Salmon. Honestly, mate. Honestly, you've just gone on to the naughty step. Jay Mara, United Bellend, I'll knock your spark out. Jay, oh mate, amazing. Jay, mate, do you think I'm going to come back at you and I'm going to say, oh come on, look, Jay, I guarantee you couldn't knock yourself out, right? You couldn't punch your way out of a wet paper bag. So look, just keep being angry, my friend. I apologise if I've offended you in any way in your life, but Jay, yeah, mate, you just need to chill out. What's good, JB? Scott, legend of the chat, one of our mods as well, absolute legendary. This channel is about footy and big, beautiful women, Jim H. I love it. Kane will never leave Bayern for United. Omni Hydro. We can talk about that. Richard says the FC stream was the greatest thing in human history. I I know it was, mate. I know it was. I am going to do another FC. I am partly working through another one because I've now got some decent players, so I've worked through that. We are going to do a FIFA stream on here with some of the members as well, so be prepared for that one. As the Danny B says, don't forget to hit the like button, like, favorite, and subscribe. It literally costs nothing. Again, I watched it at least 19 times. Thank you, Risha. You have to play me for the stream. Scott, I will. But Jay Morris says, up the Liverpool, we are the best football team in the land. Yes, we are. Yeah, Jay, mate, look. Right, Jay. Look. This is not one of those channels where you need to come on and you need to push a hate, right? One of the beauty of this channel is that we are respectful, right? I absolutely will give respect to other teams, most teams, and I'll give respect to you guys, right? I will read out your comments. The only thing that I do ask is, look, is just be respectful to me and be respectful to this chat. This is an amazing community that has been built from literally zero. Genuinely mean this, Jay, that we do get a lot of fans in here. We don't mind the banter. Banter's cool, yeah, but it's just be respectful. Jay, what I'll say to you, Liverpool, mate, brilliant team. You're going to hear no anger, no, we were some banter back, but you're going to hear nothing from me and from us on here. Liverpool is a fantastic team. They're run extremely well. Jay, I'm sure you're like a nice person. I know, mate. Liverpool fans on here, those are some of the best fans. You guys are in an amazing position, and we're not even in your league right now, which pains me to say that, but have to give respect to Liverpool and the way that they do their business. Delete is the best defender in Manchester. I do agree with that. Super Battle says Haaland is the best striker in history when it comes to goal scoring ability. Let's give him time first, yeah. I think to say in history, I think is a stretch right now. Don't get me wrong, he could well be, but I think that he needs, let's see if he can hit his 30s. Let's see if he can, if Haaland stays in this league and continues to do, he's going to be the best striker in this league ever. There is probably no doubt, but let's just give him more time. Look, he is one of the best strikers, but what makes you a best striker in history are a couple of things, right? The things you won, also how long you play as well. So let's at least let him get to 28 years old, and then we'll sort of maybe have this conversation again. Scott, there is no Lee today. Lee hasn't come back on, but let's see. I don't understand why people follow footballers who get paid millions for kicking a ball around the field. Frank, mate, welcome to the welcome to the channel. That's fair enough, mate. I don't understand many things in life. I don't understand people who follow footballers. I don't follow footballers. I follow my team. I've been supporting this team for 4 years. So player FC, Frank, does exist. It really does exist. But I don't. Player FC, I think, is a very new concept. People like players. People can admire players, but I think Player FC is a new thing. But I get it. I mean, I don't personally follow players. I follow my club. On the name who does random things channel, I am now a member. Cool. Do you think you could fight Mark Goldbridge? Paul Brady. Do I think that I could fight Mark Goldbridge, mate? I am never going to look. What I'm going to say is, when it comes to all that stuff, you're never gonna. I'm never going to be baited into all that stuff, right? Why would I want to fight anybody? Doesn't mean I can't fight. Doesn't mean I can fight. It just means that why would I want to fight anybody? And particularly a guy. Me and him are, I think, around like the same age. Nobody would want to see two middle-aged men fighting for no reason. The only thing I'd say about Mark Goldbridge, as a utter respect, and that's it. That's it. That's absolutely it. August says, "What do you think about Liverpool Galatasaray? Liverpool are going to win." Jim H says, "You're a sexy beast and deserves to be worshipped like a Greek god." Look, easy peasy. The only time I would fight anybody would be for charity. That is the only time that I'd fight anybody. It would have to be in good spirit, and it would have to be for charity. Do you think Christian Orozco could make an impact within the next 3 to 4 years? Sorry for being away. It was my birthday last weekend, and I went on holiday. Jamie, happy birthday! Happy birthday for last week. I never need to apologise being a legend of the chat. Hope that you went to Vegas. Amazing stuff, my friend. But yeah, I mean, like, happy birthday. Garbage took out DT from AFTV, but can JB manage him with training? Garbage took out DT from AFTV, but JB can manage him with training. Look, all I'm going to say to you guys in regards to physicality, I pretty much train every week. I go from weights. I run a lot. My cardio system is first class. That's all I'm saying. Is I don't need to train because I'm already trained. But there is, I'm not getting into all this. But all I'm saying is that the only time that I would fight anybody would be in good spirit, and it would have to be a charity match, and I'd fancy myself against anybody. So that's all I'm saying. Rish Rajesh says, "I'm a Liverpool fan, and I think I could get sixth." Jay likes only Hydra. Kane is the best striker in the world, and we will get onto that, and we will get onto a Russia as well. I'm a member on those random things. Man City are the best. Maybe they are. Jay Morris says, "Walk on through the wind, walk on through the air." Jay, look, mate, Liverpool. Look, I'm sure. Look, if you want to talk Liverpool and do all that stuff, mate, I'm sure you've got some amazing channels there, mate. Just give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Will Haaland ever win the Ballon d'Or? That's a good point, Alan. I think he will, but I don't think he'll do it at City. I think, don't forget, the Ballon d'Or is it's not a real contest, right? It's a very much a favoritism, fashionable thing, right? So for Haaland to win the Ballon d'Or, he needs to leave City. He needs to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid. That is the only way that he's going to win that. Boxing is so stupid. People just kick each other. Bluey Games. Boxing is so stupid. People just kick each other. Listen to what you just said. Boxing is so stupid. People just kick each other. It's boxing. You don't kick each other in boxing. But again, Bluey, mate, I don't get rage. We match him, defend him. Yeah. Do you think the men's can get a start against Brentford? We can come on to that as well. So remind me about that, because we did go over that yesterday, but just remind me about that as well. So if you saw your fellow United busted up, you would stand and watch. So if you saw your fellow United being busted up, you would stand and watch. Hey, what are you talking about, Jay? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, mate? I have no idea. No idea, my friend. Hood Poetry in Bumo to score against Brentford. Do you know what? I'd have a bet on that. I'd have a bet on that. Superbad, Mbumo, Yoro, and Bruno are most informed players. Will anyone in the chat 11v11 me in FC Mobile? You're a legend, my friend. No, thank you, my friend. Dorgu needs to work on his delivery. Otherwise, Shesko will just become another Hoyland. Hood, I agree with you, my friend. Absolutely agree with you. SBC, yeah, Haaland will win it when he goes to Leeds United. Bobby Legend, hello, my friend. Haaland has a huge ego. He can't win it. I was joking. Boxing is great. Haaland is a giant sweetheart. He's Norwegian. I've done 5. Steak and cheese. Manchester is blue. Steak and cheese. Manchester will never be blue. I say that maybe in 30 to 40 years' time, but when City can fill their stadium, maybe. Honestly, some people. Portugal to win World Cup, mark my words. So battles, interesting one there. So Orozco, what do I think of Orozco? 17 years old, 18 years old. Is it a coincidence that we need a centre midfielder? We've been linked to centre midfielders, experienced ones, and please, United only fills diapers at this point. Mate, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not here to change your opinion, right? I'm here to give my opinion. You're here to give your opinion. It's really funny that though, isn't it? That United are apparently this dead team, and we're this awful team. But we said that we're still there this season. We earn the same amount of money as you lot who play the Champions League and have cheated for the last 10 years. We earned our money. Liverpool did. It wasn't like we had a bunch of oil money come into the club and took us from League One where we were shit, and literally, we look. We all know City, what City are. We all know that you didn't have any fans since until 2000 and whenever it was. Look, I admire it, but let's not pretend City are anything other than what they are. Plastic, 115 charges against them. They'll probably get away with it scot-free, but let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that City are anything other than plastic as fuck. It's just a fact. It happens. It does. So, Orozco, what do I think? Where are you from, mate? I'm from Essex. Otto Daz says, is Lincoln City full of United fans? The other night versus Chelsea, they gave Garnacho the hardest time ever. I loved it. They gave him the worst reception than he got at Old Trafford. That's fantastic. I mean, look, he is absolutely just absolutely ridiculous. I just don't think he's right. I think Isaac is probably in the same boat as well. I think Wizza should be in the same boat. I think people forget that Wizza actually forced a move as well. So you get these certain players who now get a tag. Is it fair? He's a young lad. He can make a mistake, but that's how it is. We're all playing fancy football. I'm not this season. Steak and Cheese says, let's not pretend United hasn't done the same thing. So United, I've had a load of oil money pumped in when they were in League One, have been factually caught out, cooking the books. No, they haven't. Look, nobody's pretending, are they? That's a real look. I don't blame City fans, right? All I'm saying is, look, City have been one of the best teams in the last 10 years. There is no point in even arguing that, right? But let's not pretend that Manchester is blue, because it's not. It's never going to be blue. And let's not just hide away from the fact that, look, you got a bunch of money pumped in. You're allowed to cook the books for X amount of time. And look, it is what it is. It is what it is. Nancy Grubman says, mate, the only reason we have charges are because they made rules after Shags Ferguson did or whatever. That's funny, isn't it, Nancy? Because Fergie left, and all those charges are post-Fergie. But what's really interesting is that you guys are factually in League One going nowhere at all. And what City fans can't stand, what they absolutely cannot stand, is that we all know what you are. We've all just got to accept it. We all accept it. I really couldn't care anymore, but we all know your modern history, where it's come from. It's nothing to do with Fergie. This club has never had any help. Everything that we've done has been off of our own back through success. And City can't stand it. You can't stand it. It's absolutely bitter because you've been playing FIFA for the last 15 years, and there's nobody that takes you. There's nobody that takes you seriously. You won the treble. No one talks about it. No one cares. Literally, no one cares, because we all know the truth. Like, people still talk about ours 20 odd years after. Nobody cares about the City treble, because we all know. We all know. Nancy says the amount of refs paid off Fergie was purchasing thing. Of course, Nancy. All right, okay, yeah. Of course it was. Look. If that means that you can sleep at night and you can, great. But football is money, and United still spend money and all right shit. Man United blue and has been for 13 years. Oh, Nancy, what I love the delusion. You are one of those meme City fans, deluded. You're a meme, absolute meme, right? City, difference, Nancy, is United spent their own money. So let me give you two scenarios, right? United had owners that's never put a penny in of their own money and put us into large amount of debt. And as much as I hate them, we still won some stuff, right? Even though we had one arm tied behind our back, Fergie was able to still win some leagues and still win a European Cup, right? With one arm tied, and we still won stuff. And we spent our own money. The money that we earned, we spent it, right? City went down to League One, had nothing. Income was shit, absolutely nothing at all, and then got pumped full of money. We spent our own money. We had no owners who came in. They've never put a penny of money into this own club. We've spent and wasted our own money. You've not earned your own money and spent someone else's money. That just because you're salty, it's not blue. It's never been blue. But you can keep saying it. You can keep on yakking on about it, Nancy. I think that Saeed is a proper muppet. Do you agree? Look, Paul, you're not going to bait me. I can't. I'm not going to call out other YouTubers on it. Whatever I think about Saeed, whatever I think about other YouTubers, look, they've been doing this longer than me. Maybe you don't like me, maybe you don't like them, but I'm not going to get into all that, because I don't think it's a good look, and I'm not about that, right? I'm not about calling other people out just for clicks, or calling other people out just so I can make myself look good. I'm just going to say to you, you can make up your sort of own mind. David says Ugarte needs to go. He does. United legacy, City relevancy. Is it? Yeah, Hood. Agreed, mate. I agreed with that. Agreed completely. We are an irrelevance. City are right now. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Jay says United useless ever since Rooney left. Never been the same since. Joe, we've not been the same since Ferguson left. But again, I think that now is a mute point. I think that as a club, we're going nowhere. Whilst these Glazers are still in charge, and this Orozco signing, and I will come on to that, and I will give you my opinion. Beyond Pep, City won't have much of a foundation. Where's Nancy Wheeler? What's Nancy Wheeler doing in the chat? Exactly. City fans can't name 5 plays before 2010. Exactly. Not bitter, mate. 6 and 8. And see, look, you are bitter. You can quote 6 and 8 all you like, but it's fake. We all know it's fake. It's a bit like playing FIFA on easy mode with loads and loads of money, and then going, look, I've won all of these trophies. No one cares. No one cares. You United fans don't care, mate. We do care, but we just don't care about City. Who would you want for our next manager? Kevin, mate, as much as I'd love to answer that, I can't. I'll leave that to the chat, right? Because I think that number one, right now, I'm hammering in. I'm not really thinking about a coach. And number two, I already know who the coach is going to be. It's going to be Southgate. So there's no point in even talking about Arola. There's no point talking about Glasner. There's no point talking about Xavi. It's going to be Southgate. Isn't it funny how your own club's trouble is going to be more important to you than anyone else's? Not really. It's a fact. Nobody talks about your treble. Like, your treble is only important to you. Our treble is talked about by everybody. When everybody thinks about like the treble, they don't think about City. They think about Solskjaer. They think about Teddy. They think about 99. And say, you're fighting a losing battle. JB, give me that N64, please. Yeah, it's got FIFA 98 in it, mate. It's up there. Manchester United has never been blue. Even I know that as a Liverpool fan. Exactly, John. Exactly, John Humphreys. And again, a Liverpool fan, respectful. I know. Yeah. What have we got? Benji, you all have worse fans in the league, and it's not even close. Money says Man City still better than United. Oh, I'm loving this. We're getting all of the City fans in today. I love it because what I notice about City fans, they can't talk about the sort of only things that City fans can actually talk about is how they've won the last 6 and 8 leagues, how we're crap, how City is blue. They never talk about the 115. They never talk about how they came into being, the things that they've done, the people that they've paid off. I just find City a big meme. It is hilarious. Conte, Kevin, and again, Conte, I think it's a very, I don't know. I'm going to let the chat get onto that. Hello from Japan, the Crippendit. Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing extremely well. Mark Stewart, hello, my friend. Off the Pine personal training, they actually just repeat. No one thinks about them. Are we discussing potential replacement managers? Just join the chat. No, just get into the chat. I mean, we talk about all sorts. As you know, Mark, just get into the chat amongst yourselves about the managers as well. No City, the call 115. I love it. So Arosha, what do I think of that? And then we'll get on to Harry Kane, and then I'll get on to some other bits and pieces as well. So Arosha, what do I think of the signing? Now, I like it from a Wonderkid perspective. I really don't care. Like, I know it is going to sound harsh, and I want to support these signings, right? But we've got Kone, Leon. I mean, Leon has come into the club, and he was going to be the wonder signing for this season. Where is Leon? It's not because I don't think he's a bad player, but he's Amanda Case, showed me yours. Big Baller says, Amanda Case, show me your stream. I love the content. Thank you, Big Baller. I don't know who that is. But yeah, thank you to Amanda. Appreciate it. I appreciate the love. You guys are amazing. So, Orozco for me, I mean, I can't get excited about it. It's just another wonder kid that we signed. I think there's a bit of spin on it. Again, it's so easy to talk about signings, particularly CDMs after the event. Now, I have said what I want to do is I want to sign the next Belieber before he goes to Brighton. I want to sign these players now. Great, Wonderkid could be good, but then we're talking, and I do agree with you. I think Kashmir is washed. Now this kid is going to be a youth team player, right? Is he going to come into the squad? I might be proved wrong at some point, but I feel like we're being forced. I feel like we've been absolutely forced into again celebrating. It's basically spin, in my view. I think it's a ploy for them to again. We don't get happy about the midfield. This is so typical of Ineos, where we've got a new game. Well, we've got a game coming up, and none of us know how it will go. So they're going to put a spin in it. Now, I like this signing for a kid, but we need ready-made strike. We need ready-made players. We need a ready-made CDM. Belieber now, it looks like, when we were all talking on here about that signing, we said that if we don't get him this season, he's not going to come. Liverpool are sniffing around him, and as we know, Liverpool are a very well-run club, very, very successful club. Who's going to win that battle? It's not going to be us. I'll be very, very surprised. So this for me is people are bigging this up because it's a signing and he's a Wonderkid. But how many of these Wonderkids? Hannibal was a Wonderkid. Kane was a Wonderkid. Heaven wasn't a Wonderkid, but do you know what? He's come in and he's actually done okay. Obi is a Wonderkid, and I just think it's spin. I just think it's a really irrelevant. I'm glad that he's here. Maybe he will be, but we absolutely need relevant signings, and we need more of a experienced signing. So I like the signing, but all this big, huge spin on it. I mean, I just find it ludicrous. What makes you think we won't be capable of signing? So the reason why I don't think we are, Liam, is because we would have gone to get him. Belieber, we would have gone and signed him. It's a case of, if we were the only club in the race, we would sign him. But what we've got to understand, we're not that club, right? If Liverpool go in for him in the next window, he'll sign for them. We're not in the Champions League. For us to have a chance of signing him in the next window, we will need to be in the Champions League. That's a fact, right? There are going to be, Madrid will be there, Barcelona will probably be there, City will be there, Liverpool will be there, Arsenal might be there as well. We're not going to win that race, And then when we thinking about money as well, we're being spun around, absolutely spun around, that we're going to sign X, Y, and Z. We apparently we've got money. Apparently we don't have money. The next year we're going to have less profit than we made this year because we're in less games. So right now, is it anybody's guess? But for me, I just don't see it on the basis that I think there'll be other more prevalent clubs in that race. If we win that race, I will be amazed. Are we capable? Yes. Are we capable against bigger clubs? And that is the question here, Liam. It's not a case of, are we capable? Yes, we are. But are we capable against bigger clubs? I don't think we are. Pilot Guy says, what does United not go for someone like Mitsomo? Again, Brighton are very good at getting the price for the players. And so unless Mitsomo is, but I think Matomo's a 10 though, isn't he? So we need CDMs. So Mitsomo, I mean, he'd be a great player, but again, we need to sign a Mitsomo before he goes to Brighton because he's going to be expensive. I like the player. I think he's a great player, but I just think we don't need him right now, and I don't think we're capable of going to Brighton, and do we want to sign another number 10? I don't know. Jay Morris says, I've never met such a sophisticated United fan in my life. You are probably the first. Absolute. You are probably the first. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. He's 28, not that old, past his prime. Lim Jones says, we weren't the club to sign Euro. We weren't the club to sign Mbumo. We weren't the club to sign Cunha. Heck, go back 9 years ago, we can possibly sign Pogba over Madrid. Point being, we are. Liam, mate, I don't disagree with you, but I'll come back on that, okay? Not because and again, I respect the opinion, and Liam, I admire the fact that you're positive, and I'm not disputing that, but I have to be pragmatic and I have to be real, and I will come back on like all those signings. Euro, Madrid weren't willing to pay the money. We paid over the odds, and Real Madrid weren't prepared to pay that money for an 18-year-old. We did. And the reason why we won that race is because we paid more money than them. It's as simple as that. But we did well. Brentford, we offered 70 million. No one else was going to offer that money. No, Arsenal weren't in that race at that time. Newcastle were sort of in the race, and then they got scared off by the price. Tottenham were never in that race. No one else was going to pay the money. And I'd love to agree with you, but we were the only club in that race. And then he basically said that he only wanted to come to us. I don't dispute the signing, and I think we were great. Cunha's the same. Like, when we signed him, no one else was in the race. Like, I can't. Whilst I semi-agree with you, I can't say that it wasn't like we were in the race with Arsenal for Cunha. They weren't even in the race. They were in the running in terms of they were interested, but we didn't fight. We fought for Shesko. Again, I'd probably say Shesko for me is probably the one where we had to fight and we won that race. But it was only the Geordies, and no disrespect to them, they're a fantastic team. But if Liverpool were in that race, if Arsenal were in that race, we sort of weren't. We were never. And Pogba, nobody was paying 89 million for Pogba as well. So look, Liam, we are capable. I don't disagree, but if you look at the signings that you mentioned, nobody else was really in that race. Now, whether you disagree or agree at that point, but I agree, we are capable of doing it. But I want to know, are we capable of signing them if we're in a big pool of players? So let's see. Maybe we have changed, but unless we finish in those Champions League spots, there's absolutely no way, in my opinion, that we get anywhere near him. We can win against Liverpool and then lose against Wolves. Exactly. You look broke as F. Randy S. I look broke. I'm just a bit cold, mate, to be fair. I'm not entering into a conversation about money, my friend. Not at all. Ben Jacobs tweet, I think he has. Benji, all good team, but Gyökeres goes in big games. Arsenal need to stop being scared. I agree with that. Connor Hibbert says Madrid wouldn't pay that for an 18-year-old. But they paid 75 that price for Endrick. Yeah, Connor. Yeah, they're funny like that. They are. They'll. Endrick is going to be one of those. I don't know about him. I'm not sure how good he's going to be, but it's true though. It's true. Like they'll pay 75 for like an attacking player, but they won't pay it for him. Or 90 for Anthony. Michael Stain says, even though I agree with you, I don't think we're in the position where players will be willing to wait for us for a year or coming to us as free agents. Michael, exactly. If you're going to be a free agent, right, who are you going to sign for? United, who finished 15th, or Madrid, or Liverpool? players are not going to wait for us. Belieber, the videos are there. I think it's done. Anthony, go. We'll come on to that. So yesterday, the day before, Harry Kane, worst coach for United in the last 10 years. Who's the worst coach in the last 10 years? It's got to be David Moyes. As much as I don't think it's fair, you could argue Ten Hag, David Moyes. I mean, I've got to say Moyes. And Ten Hag was probably and that as well. Pilot Guy 707 says, unpopular opinion, United is not going to change with Bruno Fernandes. When he leaves, a new era will begin. Pilot Guy, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think that's a valid opinion. I think you're speaking sense. I think you're speaking facts. I think that as well. I wanted to sell him for that reason as well this season. So I think it's an opinion that a lot of people share. You think there's something wrong with your coaching staff? Hoyland and Onana are boiling out. Onana, nah. But some fact, I do want to come on to that. I do want to come on to players as well. So I will come on to that, and that is a good point. Just for the laugh, Moyes, he's proven at other clubs he's a decent manager. Look, this is what I say. Moyes had probably the difficult task to do. This is why Amorim reminds me of Moyes on the basis that they are the bookends, right? It's an impossible task to follow Fergie. And you've asked the manager to come in and completely change how this club plays. David Moyes had an impossible task. I think he did the worst because he wasn't supported enough. So it doesn't mean that he's a bad coach. It just means that he just wasn't the right fit. And I think he probably did do the worst. But do I think it was his fault? No, I don't. Alfred says, I'll be United's manager. Amazing. The reason why he got a raw deal was because he was the first after Fergie and he was on to lose. Exactly that. Luke Chapman says, my striker, Ethan Wheatley, keeper, Northampton Town player. Nothing against Ten Hag as a person, but yeah, I agree with you. Mourinho low-key was cooking, but he have a heavy personality. Exactly. So Harry Kane. So apparently this talk of Harry Kane, 58.7 million. I don't know where they got that from. I mean, absolutely have no idea. Do I think there's any truth in that? No. Why is Harry Kane? I mean, why is Harry Kane at 32, 33 going to leave Bayern Munich or going to leave them to come to us? I mean, I wouldn't even want Harry Kane because the problem is Harry Kane is not the guy that we need now. We need a team first. You bring in Harry Kane when you've got a finished team and you want somebody to score goals. Harry Kane is not coming here. I can see him going back to Spurs. I can see him going. I can see him going to a City. If he's going to come back to the Premier League, he's too slow, Benja. Exactly, he's too slow. He's not the player that he was. Doesn't mean that he's not a good striker in the Bundesliga. He's an amazing athlete. He's never going to come to us at all. So one of the things I did want to get onto, Pilot Guy 707, Luis Enrique is a great manager. Would be good to get him United one day. I agree. Of all of the managers out there that I would say could do a job for this club, it would be him because he can bring a team together. He doesn't need superstars, as he's proven. He got rid of probably one of the biggest stars in the world. He made the team a collective. Enrique, for me, if you're asking me, and I'll answer the questions because I don't shy away from questions. If I was going to choose a manager to come to this club, it would be him, because I think what he's done at PSG is fantastic. The way that he brings that team together, he'd be the guy for me. So one of the things, and I wanted to come back to one of the chats. I think it was, what was his name or her name in the chat? I'll come back to Sun Fact, which says, you think there's something wrong with your coaching staff, Hoyland and Anana. Now, what I wanted to come on to, and I think that's a fantastic point, and I've got that down on my list of things to talk about. Greg Waldrich says, hi, hello, my friend. Are we failing players? Right, now, I'll give you my, and I'm not going to hide from the things that I say. I remember the things that I say, but I also have to be fair, and I have to sometimes question the things that I say. I will always say this, right, is that at the moment it's not formation, and we can argue about Amarin and bloody blah, but I don't think it's not formation, it's not the tactics. Okay, this manager has a team of players who can't play the system. Some would argue that it's not their fault. To a degree, I would say, as much as when I say I blame the players, when I say I've got an issue with these players, it's not so much around they can't play the system. I get it. This club has always played a 4-3-3, a 4-2-2. And when you suddenly bring in a coach who plays a completely different system, what are they supposed to do, right? But for me, when I talk about these players, I'm talking about the attitudes of these players. Now, just for the losses, you're 100% failing players, and I don't think it's the manager as such. The club is crumbling, and the only person's head who's on the block is the manager. And I'll come up, let's talk about that now. It all stems from the Glazers. It stems from Ineos now. It is a systemic problem that has been there for a long time. We have had people who are, and Wilcox, and again, this has got missed, and I can't believe this has been missed. It was a very innocuous, a very flippant, very throwaway statement that was made by him when he went on one of these circuit tours and he was a guest and he was talking. And the thing that he said, and I'm going to keep repeating this because this has been missed so many times, is he said that when he got to the club 18 months ago, there was no connection between the ownership, the manager, the football staff, the academy, the first team, no connection at all. What does that tell you how this club has been run? I know people that have worked there. I've known people that have been sacked, and it is toxic. All the way through that club, it has been toxic. I don't know about it in the last 2-3 months, but I know people who've been sacked. I know people who have worked there, and it is toxic. Everything from people's hours, the way the Glazers are, the way that they run that club is toxic. That is systemic. It filters through. When you add to that, you have football people who are in charge of the football side, who are bankers, who are finance people who don't know anything about football, who bring in players on expensive wages, no care for the chemistry of the team. Just big money, big names, commercial value, egos. And when you bring that in, and then you bring in and then you bring young players through and different players through, or these players that come in and they're infected and then they sort of like have their egos and they know the manager will get sacked. We've accumulated a mass and a mess of players, and I do think that we've let players down. You go back to a McTominay, right? There's a reason why managers liked him. Now, at the time, could I see that? No. He's gone from being a player told to get out of this club. There's so many managers that loved him. We believed in the spin, or I did. And he's left the club, and the moment that he's left this club, he's gone on to earn a place in the Ballon d'Or. I mean, what does that say, right? Alanga has gone to move out, and look, he's done fantastically well. Anthony's now been hailed as one of the best signings in Real's history. Madrid themselves, they signed our left back, Canaries or whatever his name was, that we let go. Was it to Sporting for nothing at all? Sorry, to Benfica for nothing at all. And he's gone on, and he's one of the best left backs. We have now. We're like a sieve, right? And what I mean is that those players who have ambition, who are good players, they are the ones are good players because they leave to further their career. Alanga left to further his career. Scotty Mack left to further his career. Rashford, you can argue Rashford to a degree now has left to, and the jury's out on him, but even he's left to further his career, and he's doing okay. Sancho didn't want to go, and you look at him, he's an abject failure. Pogba didn't want to go. Was he a failure? Possibly. Luke Shaw doesn't want to go. Failure? You can argue that. But not only are we bringing in players with an ego, that's not, you can have so many mavericks and so many egos in a squad, but if you've got a team full of those, you're letting them down. You're letting the coaches down. And we now have accumulated. We've now got basically the bare bones and the skeleton of a side. That's basically the last thing that's left. So I think we are letting players down. I think it's easy to blame the players, and I do still blame the players to a certain point. But I think I have to acknowledge as well that it can't just be the players. It can't be. It can't be. Greg says, sounds like you've had a gut full of a gut full of your job. I like my job. I do. Vampire says hi. Yeah, let be proud. Just for laugh, no direction, no togetherness. People don't have accountability. Just for the laugh, mate, I think you're absolutely spot on to an integral part of a league winning side. Just for the laugh, I think you're spot on, my friend. JB Dewey, Man United manager mode. Let the chat pick who you sign in and sell. I think that's a good idea. I do. Let me set that up. Maybe if Bruno Fernandes would have left, McTominay would have had more success. And again, Bruno Fernandes, I think that's a good point. At the time, Bruno was probably, his heart was in it a bit more. But again, we've let a player go who maybe in this team now would flourish, and this is why we need to get rid of the rot. We need to get rid of Shaw. We need to get rid of Fernandes because we need an absolutely new dawn. Like I said, the last decade or longer, United is a destination not to win things, but boost your bank account. Exactly. Liverpool's better either way. Yeah. Michael White says, "Oi, deport illegal." No time for that, mate. No time. The beard looks like it wipes off with warm water. Well, my beard, mate, I guarantee you my beard's better than yours. This, my friend, is like sandpaper. This is an absolute this is a thick beard, mate. Swap Bruno and 120 million for Valverde. Let me have the first pick. Hi, sir. How are you? I'm very, very well. So, one of the things I did want to come on to, and again, is players, right? We're talking about today, this show really is about player. Watching from India, hello, my friend. It's to compensate the hairline. Yeah, it is, mate. It is. It comes to the point whereby the hairline was there before, and now it's going back and back and back and back and back. I mean, it is. You get to a certain age, and then look, it's just one big connection now. So yeah, the sort of a hairline is yeah, I mean, what can I do, right? You know, I'm a man of a particular age, and it comes to us all. It comes to us all. So today's show really is focusing on the players. You know, like again, we know we're talking about signings again of centre midfielders. You know, and again, I think there's a tweet. A tweet's been put out as well about us signing more players. You know, we're wanting Anderson and Wharton. Why aren't we doing it this season? You know, and then we're talking about Orozco. You know, these young players. You know, I get it. I get it. I get it. We're trying to change the culture, but is it too late? Is it too late? I've still got a thick head of hair, and I'm slightly older, but that goes with my thick head. Yeah, I mean, look, the fact that I've got hair, it might be grey. It's not as thick. The rest of my family are as bald as eggs. So, you know, the fact that I've got some sort of hair is a miracle. So, you know, yeah, it's I envy. I mean, when I was younger, I used to have a nice big thick, you know, probably even well into my 30s, even probably into my mid to late 30s, and then I got to about 38, and then that was it. Hair just started to, you know, go super grey, and decided to recede back. So lucky you just for the laugh. I'm envious. So yeah, guys, I'm going to go. I do have to get back to work, sadly. I will do a show tonight. Yeah, I'll do. Haven't done one in a while, so I'll do like a free show tonight. So tell me what you want to talk about tonight. I'll let you guys talk about stuff tonight. I'll bring in a topic of conversation. We get on it, talk about it. You guys can have your say on different stuff, and that's how we do the evening show. It's a little bit of a different show, a little bit more of a sort of chilled vibe. Yeah, and you guys can lead that chat. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely amazing. I will do some sort of FIFA something or other at some point. It's just difficult right now to work it in with work and whatever else. Yeah, so guys, thank you for being here. I'll always say this, it means so much to me, it means so much to the channel, your support, your comments, your likes, whether we banter, whether we don't always have to agree. But I think disagreeing at sometimes is more of a value to a conversation, rather than everyone being like a Stepford wife and agreeing the same things over and over again. So guys, have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. You can contact the channel, contact me on X. You can contact me on my email is there as well. You know, feel free to give me some ideas for the channel as well. Things that you want to see. I am gonna try to switch from a vertical stuff to like a normal show to like a bigger show. I've got some ideas which I will do. I'm just trying to wait for some pieces to come before I can do that. I've got a new background as well, which I think looks cool, but we'll see what happens. So guys, yeah, have a good rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you tonight. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.